Oh, all right. This is our weekly reflection number 3. Today, this week has been so up and down. it's been there's been some amazing things happening. This is honestly only one thing that kind of sucked. And I shouldn't beat up myself much about it. Anyways, welcome back to Life Game Design. I'm going to go through my weekly reflection. I do this every week, just for me to clear my head and realign my goals, have a review of all the good stuff that happened, all the bad stuff that happened, and just review it within all the different areas of special to see if the place that I want my life to go, the direction of it to go, is in the right special category. And so when I think about all the areas of special, it's these over here: strength, persistence, experience, creativity, contribution, intelligence, attachment, and life force. That sounds complicated, but life is complicated. Most productivity managers will tell you there's just health, wealth, relationships, but there's a lot of stuff, especially in this week, that don't fit in with just those 3 categories that kind of derail your attention to those 3 categories: health, wealth, and relationships. If you don't mind these categories, then it's hard to understand why you're not achieving your goals, basically. So the first thing of note that happened this week, right on Monday, right in the morning, was me breaking my XLR adapter. So this is the XLR adapter that I use for my audio. I used to use for my audio, and I have it on the tripod on my camera. And basically, it was up on the wardrobe over there, and I went to open my wardrobe. My camera was on a tripod, and this fell down and cracked right there. So the ribbon is out, detached from the circuit board. I'm not actually sure if this is something that's repairable, but the thing is, just this was like 1.2K for me to use a XLR mic that is natively plugged into my Sony camera. So that just kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. But after like 2 days, I completely forgot about it because I was just so busy um, with launching Life Game Design this week and everything that came after that. Um, Honestly, I haven't even thought about it since Tuesday. It's now Sunday, so reflecting on on that, yeah, it kind of sucks. But at the same time, I'm really glad it's something that I forgot about so quickly. Um, so yeah, let me start off this weekly reflection with my template. So I go through this template every week, and yeah, it just guides me through questions that I want to ask myself ahead of time before I do it, because I've been stalling on doing the stream for the last hour, uh, because honestly, I had such a lack of sleep this week, and especially yesterday, that I'm probably not in the right headspace to think of these questions off the top of my head. So I'm really glad I have a framework like this that can kind of just guide me through it, especially for these days. So the first thing I do is look at the wins during my week in all of these areas. And so to do that, I look in all of the different areas of my spatial framework, and that would be just going through my projects, tasks, and notes, especially. And then areas are kind of here. I kind of realize where they are. And just before we get that started, I need to plug in my laptop. Let me grab that. I told you I wasn't in the best headspace for this because I didn't even prepare charging my laptop. And even since last week, sleep was a thing that I was supposed to be focusing on. Um, But shit happens. Shit happens. There was, I think, two instances where I couldn't really help it, but many more in which I probably could have. But anyways, it's been a fucking amazing week. It's been an amazing week. So let's go over it. Anyway, strength. Um, until today, because of my lack of sleep, I completed my full workout like every single day, and I made insane progress, especially in terms of mind muscle connection with my workouts. So I'll just write that down. Yeah, so since I'm recovering from an injury at the gym, basically I can't go straight to very heavy weights. And when I think of like, especially workout trackers, I spent so long searching for a good workout tracker because there's some variables that I specifically use to make sure that I'm progressively overloading. So progressive overload is a very standard concept that a lot of the fitness community understand. It's that you're progressing week to week in all different areas, but it's something that they don't track. So most workout trackers show your progress by either weight or reps. And sometimes they'll include something like RPE, which is your rate of perceived exertion. So how far from failure are you, or the rating of intensity that you do your set to. Um, and the thing that I track that's a bit more unique is I track my form. These are all from a rating of 1 to 5. So I track my form, my tempo, and my mind muscle connection. Because if I think me going from doing 8 pull-ups with just my body weight, at the start when I first ever hit that, it was completely different to how I'm able to do it now. And those are basically the variables that differentiate between just the reps and just the weight. So my form has changed over time, my tempo has changed over time, and especially my mind muscle connection has changed over time. So yeah, those are the kind of factors that I go through in my workouts, and I rate them from 1 to 5 on every set that I do, just to keep track of that. And that's helped quite a lot in how I measure my progress, because if you don't measure it, generally you can't optimize it. So yeah, I've been focused on solely on mind muscle connection, and it's just been great. And on a bonus note, I guess to do a gym, when was it? On Friday, I met a guy called Jack at the gym, and I saw him doing face pulls, because usually I do face pulls like this, but then he showed me to retract my scapula, kind of like that. It's hard to show on the camera. Um, but yeah, I saw that he was doing it in his way, and I just approached him. I'm not usually a social person, but I felt like I needed help, so I melted my own ego and I asked him for some advice. And yeah, it was really friendly. He's a guy that we've both seen each other in the gym all the time, but we never approached each other until now. And he's a really friendly dude, and I really appreciated him teaching me because he mentioned that he was a physiotherapist. So that was really cool. Just meeting new people at the gym and stuff like that. Um, so this is a really important area of special for the next one, persistence, that literally like everyone overlooks. Especially when I started self-development, and I was like, I came from a gaming background, so my favorite thing in games is that you have a stats list and you know exactly what stats you need to focus on if you want to get a particular result. Let's say you're like a warrior type class, so you would focus on stats in a game like strength and dexterity, instead of something like intelligence or magical ability and stuff like that. Anyways, I really wished there were these kind of categories within life, because without them, and only going by the very simplified notion of something like health, wealth, and relationships, how do you track things like how you maintain the space around you? How do you track things like how tidy is your room? how's your house maintenance? How's your car? How do you maintain the items in your life? Health, wealth, and relationships. How do you track the experiences you have? Basically, health, wealth, and relationships for me. If you categorize mental health and physical health in one, that's strength and life force. Relationships is attachment, and wealth would be intelligence. I categorize that as both learning and finance. And I guess you could put contribution in there, I guess, is what they're attaining to in terms of wealth, which is your like actual wealth and how you generate wealth. Um, so these three areas that aren't in those set categories are not, they are not essential to life, but these are things that elevate life. So the way I formulated special is that they're split between essential attributes. I call these attributes. They're split between essential attributes and elevating attributes. And so elevating attributes do exactly what it says on the tin. They elevate the other areas, but essential ones, they also elevate the others, but they're a lot harder to ignore, basically. So, especially things like persistence, your life routines, and your house and your car maintenance, and all the items that you have to keep maintenance of. Like, if I only focused on a framework of health, wealth, and relationships, how do I tell someone that? Yeah, I can't even think of the words in my head. How do I tell someone that my week got kind of derailed because of this? um, and last week it was having a leak in my place. Oh, there was water on the carpet or something that I had to fix. Another persistence thing. Like if you had problems with your car, another persistence thing. So these are things that we don't put into a life bucket that really need a life bucket to explain how those areas, how those things can affect our lives. And so this is what I always wanted myself. Anyways, going back to persistence, an actual win from it was I just fixed my drawer, which was a bit wonky for, man. I've been in this room for like 2 years. It's been, you can't fully close it, and until now is the time that I just finally fixed it. Um, so small things like that. In terms of the wins of the week, there's big things and there's small things. It's whatever you want to put down, especially in terms of persistence. Um, the most ones that you're going to find within there are like doing meal prep, um, fixing things around the house and stuff like that. Those are the projects that really matter within persistence because, again, focusing on that elevates everything else. I think of Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life, and especially his emphasis on the whole make your bed thing. That is essentially a core of the persistence attribute, is controlling the space around you so that you can better traverse the space. And then experience. Oh my God. So experience is events and entertainment. Specifically for me, entertainment, because I've been working the whole week on life game design, so I haven't given myself, I won't say I didn't have time to go out. I didn't give myself time to go out or go for a hike or catch up with anyone because I'm working on building this business. And honestly, I don't feel bad about that because I'm so hyped for it. Um, Actually, I'm lying. I went to go see Lachlan. He's a friend that I am doing the template with, but um, I felt like that was a bit more work than experience. They do tie in with each other, so I'm glad I had that social interaction because that is important. But anyways, one of the biggest things that was a mad hype for me, especially this week, was Jujutsu Kaisen. If you don't know it, it's the anime. But the last two episodes that they released were just absolutely fucking insane, and I was like, on this couch just going fucking crazy, like shouting, um, because there's some like major developments within it, and that was just so cool. So again, when I think of like experience, probably when people get to their weekend, this is the thing that I guess they really just focus on asking people about. It's like, what did you do in the weekend? And it's usually something to do with experience, which is cool because experience is an elevating attribute, meaning that it elevates everything else we do. If we only focused on our contribution, our work all the time, and we didn't make time for the experiences, um, life would just be so much more bland. And so when you have experiences, it elevates your ability to contribute in a way. And it also pulls into a lot of these other attributes too. Cool. So creativity. Going down to this is the big one. Wait, actually, in experience, I'm just gonna write meeting Jack at the gym. I already mentioned that, but yeah. The hard thing about this writing it down is that as soon as I look at the special categories, I'm instantly like, oh, there was a strength thing, there's an intelligence thing, da da da. It's like all coming out of my head, and I need to take time to put it down. I almost forget. But I'm really glad that I have the space to talk about this with these live reflections, because honestly, no one's going to be watching at these stages, but it's literally just for me. It's literally just for me. So, going on to creativity. Creativity is your passion or your purpose. It's up to you. So basically, creativity and contribution are closely linked. Contribution is more, it's pink now. I kind of want it to be like more magenta-ish. But yeah, contribution is the essential attribute, and creativity is the elevating attribute. And if you have a contribution that you have done into creativity as well, basically what I'm trying to say is that they always need to be separate. Let's say you're a musician and you start doing it. You started off as like a person who just went to solo gigs or just worked at your local bar or something like that. And then you started getting regular shows and it started becoming your actual job. After that happens, what tends to happen from the people who turn their creativity into a contribution is that they no longer feel like it's a creative expression sometimes, depending on their level of passion for it. And they need another creative outlet to kind of escape what they're already doing in a way. Stay hydrated, yo. And so for me, my journey with life game design is that it used to be creativity. Now I'm trying to focus it into contribution. And I have a bit of a contingency plan when it does turn into a fully contributable aspect of business. But until then, it's just pure creativity because I have no idea where all of this is going to go. I have no idea whether this whole life game design philosophy, whether this special framework is either really hitting on something that people need, because I feel like it's something that I definitely need to navigate the nuance of life, or it's absolutely delusional and it only works for me. So who knows? But this week was the first time that I did get evidence that it does work for someone else, because my friend Lachlan, who has watched me build this over the span of probably 4 months of actually building, even though it's been literally 3 years of development, he used the template for the first time. I released it on Wednesday, and yeah, I got to use it with him and go over the template with him. And the first exercise we did was about the fulfillment board. And the fulfillment board is basically a list of projects, but in most project managers, whenever you finish a project, it goes into your archive. you literally just like put it out of your mind. You don't want to see it, kind of thing. But when I think of how game developers design games, whenever you achieve something, they show you your achievement in some form that recurs. So you can always see, in a way, your level without actually having a level system. The easiest way to explain this is that literally in a role playing game, the armor you wear. Usually, to get really good armor, you have to do a lot of quests, you have to do a lot of hard things. And you wearing that armor all the time and you seeing that armor in the game is a constant reinforcement of the work you've already put in. And so what I thought is that we can't just go around in real life and walk around with like weapons and armor on, unless you're going to cosplay. But in this case, I want to be able to do it digitally. One of my favorite parts about games is the heads-up display and the menus they have, because they're so well organized, and the UI of them, the user interface, is just so nice to use, to listen to, the sounds they make when you scroll past all of the options. There's just so much human-focused design. And when I say human-focused design, I mean game design, built into just that interface. And there's always places where you can see all of the achievements that you've already made. And that's exactly what I want to build with this framework in life game design, in these templates. Like Alex Hormozy said, you need an undeniable stack of proof that you are who you say you are, instead of just shouting affirmations in the mirror. So after that long rant, creativity, yeah. The biggest thing that happened, the biggest win, was definitely releasing the template of LGD. Oh man, and I even forgot this at the start of this week, because I guess it's we transitioned from October into November, and so I always do progress pictures. If you want to see, this was me. Um, yeah, so I hit 69 kilos with abs, pretty good definition. I'm happy because I'm at a stage where I have to really be careful of increasing my weights at the gym, especially with the previous shoulder injury. So I'm happy to be lean. Honestly, I'm not having that much more time to eat anymore, because of how much work I want to do on life game design. So honestly, just either getting leaner. I mean, I'm not really going to go out during the summer, to be honest. It sounds kind of sad, but I like it because I just want to work on this so much. Um, but yeah, I don't feel the need to like go out and show off my body. So I'm happy to just maintain my weight, and even then, like I've got abs at the moment, so I'm happy with it. But I really want to bulk. I've been wanting to bulk for the last year, but I felt like there wouldn't be any point since I can't push heavy at the gym. So I feel like as soon as I get to a point where enough of the work is done on this, that I can spend some more time in the gym, because I really love spending like 2 hours in there, um, and really taking my time with the hypertrophy focused exercises. Um, yeah, that's definitely going to be a goal. Oh, and also within persistence, this is kind of a sad one, which we'll touch on a bit more later. But uh, my sleep on time habit. So I have a habit tracker. I don't keep it in Notion, and I'm not going to be putting it in my Notion templates, because habit trackers in Notion do not fucking work. Even though all of the creators try to put them in, they're so complicated. They don't even work properly, even though the creators put so much effort to try and make them work properly. It's honestly, it's sad. It's sad. Anyways, so I keep my habit tracker like this. This week is good, but if you go down to the bottom, not good. So that is my sleep. I'm going to show you some even more some even more bad shit on my sleep. That's not how much sleep I got. It's whether I went to bed on time or not. Because going to bed on time is probably going to be a major factor into getting sleep anyway. And so the habit strength was on 44%, I found this week, which is not the best, to be honest. So, yeah, next, well, for this month, I want that to be more, at least double, so like 80%, 85%, 90% would be nice, but like you saw, the first week hasn't been so great, and there's been two instances where I couldn't really help it. But other than that, not really any excuses. And I'll go into why in a bit. But what has been good is my Power Stone challenge. For me, it's a stack of doing 20 minutes of cardio a day, going to the gym, doing at least one exercise every day, and the final one is completing my full workout, like literally all the sets on my plan, 6 days a week. And the habit strength for that has been 84%, that's pretty fucking good. Um, Considering like over the span of the whole month, I've hardly missed any, which I'm really proud of. So yeah, let me chuck that in. Physique progress. Oh my god. Okay. And I don't know how long I've been streaming for, but I have friends who do so much more than me in a week, but they don't take the time to literally give themselves credit for. Basically, I've been talking for ages, and I was just talking about all the good things that have happened this week. And how often do people actually do that? How often do people give themselves the credit of all the amazing things that they've done, all the amazing experiences they have, all their creative outlet, like all of that kind of stuff, all their wins within strength. Um, I just feel sad that I know that people don't make this a part of their routine because yeah, they wonder why they have things like imposter syndrome, why they feel like their life isn't going in any kind of direction, da 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 da, when it's like you're not giving yourself credit. So why, like, obviously you're gonna feel like that. Anyways, contribution. I guess now that I am focusing on creativity and trying to turn that into contribution, I haven't actually put that in the label yet. That is taking a back seat. And I think this is one of the best features of having the areas of life. Excuse me. Yeah, having the areas of life, understanding that they're just like stats in a game. And if you only have, let's say, 100 points to put in all of these stats, that means you're going to have to split up your time on all of these things. Like, um, if you're, if you have, let me talk about my friend Joseph. He's got he's basically doing the same thing as me, but he's still working a full-time job as a software developer. And he's got a relationship and he's just bought a house. So the biggest things in his life right now are contribution, persistence, and attachment. And so, um, and he's trying to build his app. So creativity is a big one, but that's been hard for him to find time for. So if you think we got all of these areas and you put all, if you've got so many points into contribution, kind of, there's sometimes we have to have those in, again, because it's a essential attribute. If you've got so many points in here, that means you have to realize there's only so many points that you can put into the other areas. And so for him, he's been trying to make some more time to find in creativity, but it's been hard for him to take it away from strength because he's a massive dude. Um, and we discussed, I think that was the only place where he could take away to get more time, especially because time has been his most limiting factor within getting more into creativity. Uh, so anyway, yeah, for me, contribution is something that is either at maintenance, but in this case, it's pushed completely to the side for me, at least. But contribution also um, contains things like your community and charity things, but that's something that I haven't established myself. So I'm just going to leave that there. Intelligence. This is a big one for me this week because if I go to my projects board, that's this right here. I finished the book $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi to help me really figure out my pricing plan for life game design, all the tiers of products I'm going to offer, 3 tiers of this template, the course that I'm going to develop around this whole framework to teach it and to help people design their lives, and also a community that I'm going to build around this philosophy that we can all mastermind with each other and help each other out and show each other our own designs so that we can get inspiration from each other and help each other out in all different areas of life very systematically. And I definitely want to have specialists within each of these areas who can really guide the community into the specific areas they're looking at. So yeah, I finished $100 million offers. Let's see if I can actually type this properly. I mean, it says it right there. $100 million offers. And yeah, so I took my notes on it, and I have quite a unique note-taking framework. So whenever I reach it and reference it, it's just so much easier to see than a blank wall of text. Let me show you guys real quick. Hope it wasn't too jarring to go from dark mode to light mode so quickly. But I think it will help. I'm not sure how illegal it is to show this because it's snipping straight from the book. But basically, I have a note-taking framework in which I categorize the types of notes that I take. So usually when people highlight in a book, they highlight things like really nice quotes. They highlight things like maybe a study that someone did. They highlight this really cool analogy. And then maybe they write in their own words a really cool interpretation or a new concept that they found. And I literally just told you all the different categories of the highlights. So yeah, working from the top down, it's the concept, the story, which are like stories and anecdotes that help you understand the concept. And then there's the insights from the story about the concept. So you can see how this works in like quite a hierarchy. So again, you've got the concept, story, insight, and then you have the distillation. The distillation is like the most actionable thing that you can take from all of those levels above. So yeah, those are basically like quotes. And then the final level is your interpretation of all of the above, and how you relate it to other things. So when I was reading this book, there was a lot that related to other books I've read, like the 33 Laws of Business and Life, from Stephen Bartlett of Diary of the CEO, and Dot-Com Secrets by Russell Brunson. There's so many paths that cross within the concepts of the book that are really nice for me to make those connections and see that the things that Alex is saying are tried and tested because they're coming up in other areas where they're specializing in those particular fields of things like offers and marketing and stuff like that. So generally, if someone doesn't know anything about a topic that you're talking to them about, and especially if you don't know anything about it and you need to, the first thing you need to do is find a concept. This is the top level of that framework. You need to find a concept, and within that concept you need to find a story, because a story holds all of those pieces in one. And so one of the biggest lessons I learned from $100 million offers is about, even if you have the amazing product, what's more important is your market. And this is from the hot dog stand lesson. So in this scenario, I'm just literally going to read it out. A marketing professor asked his students, if you were going to open a hot dog stand and you can only have one advantage over your competitors, what would it be? The students suggested various advantages like the location you were at, the quality, having lower prices, having the best taste, etc. And then he paused, and all the students couldn't come up with any more ideas. And the last thing that professor said, the answer was to have the best advantage over any competition would to be to find a starving crowd. So they kind of alluded it in there. I didn't even realize this wasn't working the whole time. That's fine. This is for me anyway. Um, Wow. Okay. I guess I need to go back. There's been no context. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's just for me. Um, I was on intelligence, and yeah, I just wanted to mention that I was. Um, oh my god, this is so awkward now because I just realized I've been my my mic hasn't been on for so long. Oh my god. Okay, okay. Yeah, I was listening to this podcast right here. Let me open it up. I'm so glad that I don't have many people watching me. Otherwise, this would be super awkward. Daniel Amen on the Diary of a CEO podcast, who's a brain scanner, neuroscientist, and he was just talking about this idea that really resonated with me. This concept that I'm playing around with about looking at your mental health as a relationship to yourself, and that relationship to yourself works in the dynamic of you are your own parent raising your inner child, basically. And so when I think of what they do in therapy, the first thing they Is the battery low on this? Oh my god, the battery's been low on this. I didn't even know. Fuck it, I'm just gonna wrap up this um live stream. No, I'm not gonna wrap it. I'm gonna keep going for me. I guess I'll just end it, but I'm gonna keep going. Should I? No. Yeah, because this thing's gonna cut out again, so what's the point? What do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do. Workarounds. You know what? Screw it. I've already been streaming for like 40 minutes and I've barely got through my weekly reflection. I'm gonna smash it out and end it for today. Shit happens. So I'm not sad about the stream not going well. Fuck it. Early stages. That's exactly what early stages are for.